incredible speakers joining us tonight that's going to be speaking. Had an opportunity to meet these young men. I call them young men because I'm probably older than both of them. I am older than both of you, actually. We had an incredible meeting last week, and I just asked you, I was like, where did you meet these guys? Like, where did you find them? So it's been a blessing to work with them. So I'm going to read their bio tonight as we start our program tonight. They're going to speak to us in our first half, and then in the second half, we're going to break out and we're going to have some discussions. Now, I want to say this really quick though. When we get to the discussion part, for me, we create safe spaces. So it's important that we understand that when that moment comes, what's discussed in this room stays in this room. As we get to the part where we start to, because I want to make sure that we feel free and feel comfortable in order for us to be honest and open in spaces like this. One thing I try to be intentional with when I'm working with men is creating that safe space. We can all relate, and we hold a lot of things in our lives. There's a lot of things we hold in because of fear of being judged, fear of being seen not as a man, fear of being seen soft or appearing to be soft. So a lot of times we'll sit in spaces and we're hurting or we're going through some things in our lives, but we won't open up and talk about it. And so we want to create those spaces because I believe what God can do in these particular spaces goes far beyond anything that we could ever imagine or think. So I just want to be real clear on tonight where we're going with this, but I want to get to these speakers. All right? Y'all all right with that?
Yes.
Come on, y'all all right with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I don't know about that. So my first speaker, I'm going to, what's my first? Okay. So here's our first speaker, Manny Piano. Hey. He's an entrepreneur, a podcast host, and a man of faith devoted to living a life fully surrendered to God. His journey from adversity to overcoming incarceration has shaped his commitment to growth, discipline, and purpose. He is the founder of GPH, Glory, Praise, Honor, a platform centered on uplifting God through real and impactful conversations. Manny uses his voice and his story to inspire others to pursue transformation and live a life that brings glory, praise, and honor to God. We all clap your hands for our good brother.
¿Tú me entiendes?
Do you want everyone to maybe sit on this side or something?
Your call.
You guys mind sitting on this side?
No problem.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
We'll stand over here.
You stand over here? All right.
Your wish is my command.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh, I like this better.
EJ got vision, man.
You guys, if you want, you sit in the middle. I mean, nah. I think my vision wasn't good enough for you. All right.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be invited.
So I want to thank
Working with Pastor Chubb, working with EJ thus far has been very humbling, and I'm here to share with you guys a little bit about me. And I think before I get into that, I first want to say that the only reason I have a testimony, right, and I think it applies to all of us, there's nothing significant about what I'm about to say other than the fact that I need a savior. Yeah. Right? And once we come to that realization, we know that the only true testimony we have is Jesus Christ crucified. And I want to share with you guys a little bit about that with me. So you guys heard my name is Manny. I was born in Dominican Republic, right? I came over here when I was 3 years old. All I know is Patterson. I don't think I lived out of Patterson for a couple months. And then of course, I'll tell you guys a little bit more about when I went to prison. I left Patterson, but most of my life, Patterson, right? And my story about being born in DR, I came when I was 3, but I want you guys to know where I come from in Dominican Republic is poverty, right? And as I mentioned, like these little things, it's just to glorify God, because I would say the chances of me even being here before you, God's hand is all over it. So I come from a place where there is no roads, So when I was a kid, we're talking about dirt and rocks on the floor, right? The kids that did wear clothes is because their family was privileged to wear clothes. And I was privileged to wear clothes, but I was one of those kids that like to run around, right? And I came over here when I was 3 years old. My mom made the effort, and that's when I finally met my mom, when I was 3. And I didn't know nobody else. I didn't know my grandma, I didn't know my aunts, I didn't know my little brother. He's 2 years younger than me, so it's brand new for me. And I would say I was a troublemaker, right? And it wasn't until I got older that I understood, well, you're taking me from Dominican Republic, right? I was with my father's mother, my grandmother. You bring me over here and I don't know nobody, right? And I didn't know why I was so upset until later on in life. And here we go, right? I went to public school and I wasn't the best student academically either. And it wasn't that it was hard for me to learn. It was hard for me to stay focused. Like I'm always daydreaming, I'm always getting into something. And even though my mom had a heavy hand, I was always in trouble, right? And I love my mother. My mother was, or is, excuse me, the type of person that she provided, right? She was very disciplined. This is what I expect you to do, this is how I expect you to do it. You fall short of the mark, we got problems, right? So that was instilled in me very young, and I'm very grateful for that. But my mom really only showed me how to survive, right? She didn't show me how to communicate my emotions. My dad, never in the picture, and I'm sure a lot of us might be able to relate. It wasn't easy growing up, right? I have a younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and I feel bad for him because he got the short end of the stick until we got older. I always used to beat my little brother up for whatever reason. Like, you go get it. I get in trouble, you get it. It was just that. But my mom did raise us in a way where like me and my brother are like this now, right? And I saw once I finished high school and I started working and all this other stuff, I always used to look out for him. And it's so funny how life has a way of showing things. You're gonna go through experiences, and I remember when I went to prison, wow, my brother, wow, right? Didn't fall short once. So I went to Passaic County Tech. I don't know if anybody knows, right? Hey, right down the road, right? I'm a bulldog. And Tech was fun, man. Right before Tech though, 2009, I got baptized. So that's like the curveball of my story, where like I grew up a couple years before going into high school. I was in church. I was really like devoted to it. And it was because my aunts took me. So it was me, my brother, my cousin, my aunts were in church. My mother and my grandmother though, totally different. By title, they would say they're Catholic, right? But they practice something called La 21 Divisiones, which is Santeria, or witchcraft, however you want to take it, right? So I grew up my whole life, my mom has an altar in her house, right? With these saints, Saint Michael, and all. Man, listen. And she would give offerings to them. She would give like coins, and she would give like all these different stuff, sometimes food, sometimes drinks. So that wasn't foreign to me, but I always felt like weird about it, right? And I remember sometimes she would give like, she had like a little like bucket, and she would give like coins to it. I'll take it. Man, I'm telling you, what didn't I used to do? But right, going into high school, I took a whole class. We were talking about this outside, me and Pastor Chuck, like, you gotta know what you're doing when you go get baptized. You gotta know why you're being baptized. And I took a whole class for it. And at 13, 14 years old, I gave my life to Christ. I know what I'm doing, right? And welcome guys, welcome. And but imagine like, I have so much stuff going on transitioning into high school. And what I'm talking about is identity, right? That's gonna be like a big topic for today, identity. I come from Dominican Republic, right? I'm growing up over here. So even in the school system early, like, it's the Spanish kid. It took me a while to learn English, but y'all can see I can speak it better now than when I first came. So that was an identity I had to take on. So life was always just throwing me like other people's perception of what I should be, right? But then I also had a way of who I thought I was, and it's always been a battle. Always been a battle. Now I'm going into high school. High school ain't no joke, right? I'm in high school, my freshman and sophomore year. I remember we have shop class. My shop was engine mechanics. I'm in shop class, I'll get up just like this, right? Out of nowhere. Jesus Christ! And da-da-da, my friends is like, man, don't sit your butt down. What's wrong with you, right? And in tech, you have the same shop all 4 years with the same people. I have friends to this day, there are a lot of them we're still in contact with, but I have 2 core friends to this day. One of them actually gave his life to Christ when I came home from prison. And but that was freshman and sophomore. We have peer pressure, we have all this stuff. By junior, senior year, man, I'm outside, right? And we laugh about it, but I didn't know how severe it was. I had certain moments in my life that I'll share with you guys where like, I broke down. It's just me in my room crying. And I'm like, God, is this really me? Because there's certain things that we'll do that we never think we would do. And we're like, is this me? I used to say at one point, like, yo, I would never do this. I would never hurt a person this way. You get what I'm saying? But by senior year, I was already like, I'm smoking, I'm having sex, I'm doing stuff that freshman and sophomore year, that's the Christian kid, you're not with none of that, right? And so now I'm taking on the identity of what the world thinks I should be, what my peers think I should be, what my peers deem as normal, right? And I would say a lot of it had to do because I didn't have someone to disciple me while I was at church. There was a big difference between the men that was there and then us youth. There was nobody to bridge that gap really. So what am I left with? I don't have a father figure at home. My mom, I would say, she's very, my mom's tough. My mom told me a couple of things, but my mom couldn't teach me how to be a man, right? And to be completely transparent, I didn't really learn what it was to be a man. I'm about to be 33 in November. So a couple, 2 years ago, I started really wrestling with it. This is what the Bible says, right? So now we have the identity that God has, right? As I'm transitioning out of high school, I go to college. I never thought I'd go to college. So honest. My mom was like, you either gonna work or go to college. I was working already. She's like, well, you're gonna do both now. And my stepfather, thank God he was there because I didn't know. I'm walking in, and they're giving me a tour of the campus, and they're like, yeah, so like, what major are you interested in? He's like, business. He's 6'9", so I'm like, yeah, right? But glory be to God, I got my associates and I got my bachelor's. First in my family. Right? Completely honest, I don't know how to do it. Because you want to know what my identity was going to college? I was just a weed smoking, basketball playing, girl chasing. I'm telling you, and my friend, he makes fun of me to this day. He's like, yo, we'll be in class after we finish smoking, and I'll fall asleep, and they'll ask a question, and I'll be like, da-da-da-da-da, that's right, and then I'll go back to sleep. I don't know. I really don't know. But I reflect on it now, and like, I really ask, like, what was I doing? I throughout my entire life, I could just see God's hand, like, cause even what we do and it's bad, right? Or people do that is intended for bad. God takes it, and He'll make it to good. Yeah. Right? As I'm finishing college, I do my internship. I was working at Nordstrom, and I became assistant manager, intern at the women's shoes department. And from there, I went to my first bank job, PNC Bank. Boom, then I graduated. I moved out by myself with my girlfriend at the time. I'm on a high horse. Can't nobody tell me nothing. My family can't tell me nothing. I done passed all of y'all. What you gotta tell me? But my identity, what I think a man is, well, I went to school, I make money, I hold my house down, I hold my girl down, can't nobody tell me nothing. She can't even tell me nothing. But what are we chasing after? If we build on a faulty foundation, it's gonna crumble. My foundation was things that I thought I could have claimed, the accomplishments that I got, right? And then there's the identity that we find in, like, as men in the world, we wanna, like, have all these different women. So I had a good person next to me. Here I am outside again. For what? Cause I think that's the right thing to do. Cause the music I listen to tells me, like, yeah, that's the way you find identity. That's the way you find value as a man. And here's when my life starts taking a downward spiral. Like 22, 23. Now I'm in a toxic relationship with this girl. Right? Now I'm chasing money. I'm at PNC Bank. I transferred to Bank of America. I'm just chasing the bag for no apparent reason. I did 3 years at PNC Bank. Growing steadily under a good manager. But I was chasing the bag, so I left. Right? Things got so toxic with this girl. I started cheating on her, she started cheating on me. She ends up pregnant. And it turned out it was not my kid. A lot of things start spiraling down. Like I'm telling you, like, my family's not talking to me now. Why? Because I chose her. You guys ever been in that situation? Like, my family and my friends. Like, you go to your friends and like, yo, we don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You keep talking about it. We don't want to hear no, bro. I was there.
We knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, like, and not for nothing, these are friends that, like, I'm very vulnerable with my friends, with my inner circle. I'm talking about, like, if we gotta cry, we crying. You get what I'm saying? And how Pastor Chuck said earlier, like, what we talk amongst each other as men, like, it's confidential and stays there. But this topic was just like, yo, bro, you bugging? I don't even want to talk about it. You figure it out. I got to a point, I ended up, I'm homeless now. And I'm not homeless because I don't got no money, but because I had to leave the apartment while I was living with her, because it was under her name. And now she threatened me. There's a baby in the house. I stayed with her through it all. There's a baby in the house. I like to smoke weed. She's like, I'm gonna call the cops. I did it before that time, before we was legal. It's bad. And push comes to shove, I'll make a long story short, I ended up in prison. Second degree burglary charge. Third degree aggravated assault. I'm in prison now. And I'm wrestling. Cause I had one more of those moments right before I went to prison. And I remember it happened when I cheated on her. I cheated on her, I got caught. I'm by myself in my room, I'm crying like a baby. It was been such a long time since I've spoken to God. But through everything, what I'm feeling is conviction. Because I'll do something, like, yeah, this is what I want to do, I know it. And then after I do it, I'm like, how the heck did I do that? And then I'm walking around like guilt tripping. Making sure y'all know that now. Like, you're doing stuff different and everything. And it was bad. I went to prison and now I'm in prison and now I'm really like, I'm wrestling with God. I'm like, why would you do this to me? Why would you allow me to I'm talking about God's sovereignty. I mean, I know you're in control. It's your fault. This is your fault. Then we reflect a little bit, like, nah, it is my fault. I gotta take, ownership of my actions and all this other stuff. But it's like, but God, like, you let me get here. And it's so funny because during the beginning of my bid, I was like wrestling with God, and I did 4 years, 3 months a day, 9 hours, like 45 minutes. Just counting. I'll tell you one thing. As I'm in there, I'm seeking God. I'm going. They call it chapel. I'm going to chapel. Don't get a conversation started about God with me. And then, right? Other people come with other religions, and then they, well, we're gonna talk about Jesus Christ. We believe in Jesus Christ too. Who you say Jesus Christ is? And I'm like, I almost got into a fight about that too. Prison was a different experience, but God was like, He was pruning. He was pruning me. He's telling me, like, are you gonna choose me? And I was fake choosing God over there. What I mean by fake, I'm not fully devoted. I read my Bible a little bit more now. I pray a little bit more now. But right, again, the peer pressure, my identity is now, well, I gotta think now, well, I'm a convicted felon. I already signed my sentence. I gotta do these 4 years, right? 3 years of parole. But I'm in here with all these killers and gorillas. And since I don't got no street cred, I just used to work at the bank. But I'm from Patterson, like I'm not new to the funk either. Like I stepped the way I stepped also. You get what I'm saying? Like, but it's like I thought I had to prove myself to these people now. To these people that I'm locked up with, because you're not about to punk me. And I started doing stuff in prison that I didn't do when I was outside. I drove the game. I was selling drugs in there. I ain't had no need to do that. Why? Because my identity, what I thought the value of a man was, is still being shaped by other people. It's still being shaped by my environment. I have no foundation. No foundation. Fast forward, I come home from prison. Everything is different. I went from iPhone 8 to iPhone 16. Now I jumped too much. iPhone 15. iPhone 10 to iPhone 15. That's the jump. While I'm in prison. We know where we was at when the iPhones dropped. We know where we was at. I come home and everything is different. My family ain't the same. My relationship with my family isn't the same. Why? Because I spent 26 years old, 27, 28, 29, 30 years old. 5 birthdays I spent in prison. I ain't the man that I was when I was 25, so you ain't about to come. Ain't nobody came at me crazy while I was in prison, and if you did, we handled what we had to handle. So I come home with that same mentality, even with my family. I ain't trying to hear nothing y'all talking about. Respectfully, I'm not gonna initiate it. But if you initiate it, this is before I was a pushover. Before I was like, yeah, cool, yes to everybody. Now it's different. And I remember Ray, I'm telling you guys, my friend Danny, he gave his life to Christ while I'm in prison. I come home from prison, he's like, yo, let's go to church. I'm like, yeah, all of that, let's go, we out to church, and this and the third, yeah. God knows what he's doing. God knows what he's doing. It took, though, I want to say about like 8 months since I come home from prison, in order for God to really like hold us. I came home December 12, 2023. August of 2024, my life changed. I'm stopping everything. Because I came home to do the same thing. I'm running around like chasing women. Now I'm selling weed again. I'm doing all this other stuff. But I think because I'm doing it in such an organized way, in such a structured way, like I'm smart now, I ain't gonna get caught. I'm on parole, but I got my weed card, so I'm good. We try to finesse everything. God sees everything. everything done in darkness, right, comes out from God. And God made me make a decision. I want all of you. I'll be so honest with y'all, there's no better decision in the world. And from there, God is like, this is how you read this word. A man don't gotta be all hard. You don't gotta be all tough. God says the meek shall inherit the earth. Sometimes we think just because we take care of our responsibilities or because we accomplish all these things and we have like this ambition to seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, all the things will be added. And from there, I made a decision. From August 2024, September I started. I'm not having sex until I'm married. It's not happening. It's not an easy thing to put into practice. We live in a world that's like lust and sex and that's like marketing. That's like front line. But then I would say, are we gonna try and have things in our control, or are we gonna leave dependency so that we can practice our faith and God can work? I'm not saying it's easy, but we know God, right? I stopped smoking the beginning of 2025 for New Year's. I remember I made that decision. God gave me community. Right? I have some of my brothers came over here to support me. Glory be to God. But I want y'all to know that they've heard this story. They know what's up. But I want to be vulnerable and share with you guys what God has done in my life, what God is doing in my life. I met a brother, he's very dear to me. At first he was trying to scam me. I was pure. And that's how I started GPH. It's called Glory, Praise, and Honor. Right? And it's so funny because at first I started that platform to make podcasts. And I'm thinking of like, oh yeah, entrepreneurial stuff and all this other stuff. Because when I was at the bank, and I studied business management, I've started my own businesses. I've done stuff like that. I helped one of my friends do a trucking business where he made like hundreds of thousands of dollars. My friend Danny that I'm telling you guys about. I have that, but I never surrendered it to God. I never surrendered it to God, and God has guided me to have this platform, and to Him be the glory, the praise, and all the honor, right? And that was because of my friend Giandi, and I also started a business called Visionara, and with Visionara, my focus is I'm working on it still, right? There's a lot of work to be done. But my focus is to help people fix their credit, right? To help people establish businesses. I help people establish new business here in New Jersey. That's a whole other thing. But everything that I do, every step that I take, every breath that I take, every thought that I take, now it's considering God. Because the final piece to everything was that I was seeing the identity that my family gave me. I was seeing the identity my friends gave me, the world gave me. When I came from prison, the identity that the system gave me. Because I'm a convicted felon. I walked anywhere, oh watch out. You look at my record, you look at my back, right? But I can rest. I can rest knowing that the only identity that I have to focus on is my identity in Christ. Nothing else. If nothing else I said today, man, your identity in Christ. Nothing else. Because when that day comes, it's going to come for all of us. And we're face to face with our Maker. Their identities are going to be found in the blood that was shed by the name of God that we just celebrated, right, this last Sunday. Or it's not. You're going to have to hold your account to that person when it happens. I appreciate you guys for your time.
Fellas, come on, man, we can do better than that. Not better than our football team. Come on, I don't go up to No.
I ain't gonna lie.
No, but I screamed louder than that when Duke talked. I legit passed out on the floor. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was distraught. But give it for our brother again. A very powerful story. At this time, we're going to go to our brother EJ. EJ is married to his wife Alexis. They have a 2-year-old baby girl named Aria. EJ is the next generation or next gen leader at Christ Church in Montclair and Rockaway, New Jersey. He played professional football and now serves with athletes in Action and Fellowship of Christian Athletes, as he is passionate about reaching athletes with the gospel. He does life coaching, personal training, and desiring to see men reach their God-given potential. Come on, y'all, put your hands together.
Just want to start with a word of prayer. If we could just bow our heads in our heart. So God, I thank you that nobody is here by accident. Nobody is here by chance. This is a God-ordained moment. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful to be able to share for a moment or two. So God, I just ask that you would open our hearts, open our minds, open our eyes, open our ears, just to be able to be discipled, to be able to grow, to be able to get closer to you, to be able to experience you, to be able to encounter you, so that we can be all that you've called us to be, so that we can reach our God-given potential. So God, we just ask that you have your way in this place. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. I want to say thank you, Yara, for the opportunity. Randy, Pastor Chuck, appreciate you guys. This is a small, intimate setting. This is where real discipleship and real transformation can happen. I'm not going to share much because we're going to go to breakouts. But God literally changed my message, what I wanted to share, just about 15 minutes ago, because I really do believe that there is something for a lot of us in this room. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself. And it started when I grew up in Union, New Jersey. And if you know where Union that is, it's about like, okay, clock that. It's about 25 minutes from here, and funny enough, I almost came to this school. I'll get to that in a minute. But I grew up in Union, or with my parents. I had an older brother, and he used to beat me up every day of my life. Now, I'm a little bit bigger than him. We're a little bit more mature, so no issues. But growing up, we went to Catholic church. And I went to Catholic church for one reason, and that's because I was forced to go. And that's it. Church was at 10:30, so at 10 o'clock, I'm trying to clean my room, I'm trying to wash the car, I'm trying to clean up the dog do in the backyard. I'm trying to get out of church by any means necessary. Usually it didn't work, but I would go to church and quite frankly, get nothing from it. Then in 8th grade, I had to make my confirmation to be confirmed into the church. And to do that, some of us are shaking our head. To do that, I either had to do a food drive or go on a 3-day, 2-night youth retreat with about 300 other teenagers. And I did not want to go. The youth pastor came to me and my father and basically talked me into going, convinced me to go. I went on the youth retreat somewhere, I believe it was in Pennsylvania, and they did not talk about God. They did not talk about Christ. We did not open a Bible. We did not worship. We did not sing any songs. The two things I remember was them telling us, don't drink alcohol underage, and the hazing that was going on. Older kids basically beating up the younger kids, and everyone had an incredible time, except me. So I come back from the retreat, and the youth pastor comes to me and my father, and my name is EJ, but back then I went by Eric, which I'll go get to in a minute. Comes to me, he's like, Eric, did you love the retreat? Everybody loved it. Did you love it? Did you love it? And I'm like, honestly, no, I did not. And he's like, why? What happened? So I told him a little bit, made my confirmation the next day at age 13, and I was done with church. I was done with God. I believed in God, but I had no idea what Jesus did on the cross. I had no idea he had a plan for my life. I had no idea I had to accept him as my Lord and Savior. I had no idea about any of that stuff. And from that moment forward, my life was all about football. All I cared about was how am I going to make it to the NFL. At that point, I was a basketball player. I wanted to go to Duke. I thought I was going to be the best shooting guard in the world. Little did I know I'm actually short for a basketball player. So I started playing football, and immediately I'm better at football than I am at basketball. And then I played high school football, and I'm trying to figure out how can I get a D1 scholarship. Long story short, I play corner, I play safety. I don't have any offers. I don't get invited to the All-Star game. Willam Patterson, the coach, reaches out to me. I come here on the recruits day. There's 32 recruits. 31 of them had already signed, except me. And I told the coach, I'm gonna sign. And then 2 weeks later, something just hit me that I'm not supposed to go to that school. No disrespect to that school, it just wasn't part of my God's plan. So, I'm trying to figure out what am I gonna do. I go to junior college, and at this time, my father was always stable in my life. He was always there for me, but we start to butt heads. Now that I'm 17, going on 18, he bought me a car. A 1995 Nissan Pathfinder with duct tape on the headlight, but I had wheels. I could get around. And then we start to have issues, and I have to take the car to get inspected. And he asked me, did I check this? Did I fix this? I don't want you to go to the inspection and fail. And I'm like, I took care of it. And he curses me out crazy. I hang up the phone. He calls me back, curses me out crazy. 3 days later, he has a procedure on his heart. Of course, I want my dad, who I love, to be okay, but I'm still mad at how he talked to me, so I did not ask him if he was okay. A couple of days later, there's tension in the home, and you know how people passively, aggressively talk about you to somebody else? Like, yo, Manny is da-da-da, and Manny's right there? That's what he would do to me. So 3 days later, it's his birthday. I don't say happy birthday. And this just kept going on and on and on and on and on. Then, the car that he bought me, $950, I'm driving to work, past the Short Hills Mall on Route 24, and basically the car almost blows up. It starts smoking from the inside and the outside, and I knew there was an oil leak, so I went to my dad, and I said, what do I do? He said, go to this mechanic. I go to the mechanic, he speaks Spanish, I speak English, we don't understand each other. He draws an X on this reservoir, it says put oil here when it's below this line. So I start putting oil there, coming to find out, I'm putting oil in the coolant reservoir, and the engine blows. In my dad's mind, I just wasted his money. In my dad's mind, I did not take care of my responsibilities. I did not honor and respect what he gave me. More tension, more butting heads. Then, get another car. He told me, if you don't go to a four-year school, but I'm about to say I don't recommend. He said, if you don't go to a four-year school to essentially save him money, I'll buy you a new car. I said, okay. I go to a two-year school, and lo and behold, he pays for 2/3 of the car, but doesn't pay for the car. So I have a car. Then I'm going to the gym one day. Again, I'm trying to figure out how can I play college football. So my coach from high school takes a position at a junior college in New York, and then I talked to the coach. He said next year he'll get me on the team. Cool. So I'm going to the gym. There's a snowstorm. I come back from the gym. The car slides off the road. I hit a tree. The car is totaled. In my dad's mind, I didn't take care of my responsibilities. I disrespected him, and I did not honor what he gave me. More attention. Then I start training for football. You guys said you play football, right? All three of you?
No, only you play.
Just you? Start training for football, and I jump a 40-inch vertical. I run a 4.28 in the 40. I'm flying. I'm doing a bunch of things. And I decide that I'm gonna reach out to nationally ranked junior colleges. So there's this school in California, Los Angeles, Pierce College. Talk to the coach. He basically says, cool. I go out to California, and I didn't pay a bill at my previous school, so I'm ineligible. I have no mentorship, no wisdom, no idea what I'm doing. I'm ineligible for the whole season. I go to weight room one day, and I'm benching 225. I'm about to do 12 reps. I'm pretty strong at the time. And on the second rep, I feel a little pinch right here. Don't think anything of it. Third rep, feel a big pinch. Pause, and I say, that wasn't normal. What should I do? And I said, I'm not a quitter, so I'm gonna finish this set. I go down for the fourth rep, and I tear the pec off my bone and the tendon out of this socket and completely tear my pec. And from here to here to here, it looks like I have a breast. That's how swollen it was. It's pink, it's purple, it's blue, it's orange, it's brown, it's green, you name it. And while I'm in California, because of all the tension that me and my dad had, I'm pretty much done with him. So I don't tell him, he doesn't call me, I don't call him. I literally felt, this might sound a little weird coming from what Manny just shared, but I felt like I was in prison. And I could not wait to go home because I just bet on myself to come 3,000 miles across the country, play junior college football, try to get a D1 scholarship, and nothing is going right. I'm ineligible. I'm in a toxic relationship where me and this girl argue every single day. I have the worst injury of my life, and just nothing's going well. I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 other football players who were the grimiest people I've ever met. They would not take the garbage out. They would not do the dishes. It was literally, I'm not even joking, from here to the end of this table, just pile of garbage. It was grasshoppers that lived in there. There was every bug you could possibly think of. Roaches, you name it. Disgusting. Anyway, I finish that year, I get surgery, I come back the next year. I play well, I get a scholarship in Division II to Abilene Christian University, which is in Texas. And mind you, I haven't mentioned God or anything. Remember, after 8th grade, I walk away, age 13. Now I am 20 years old. And I get a scholarship, I go to Abilene Christian University. We are ranked number 10 in the country. There was just Clyde Gates, who just made it to the NFL. He played for the Miami Dolphins. There's an opportunity for me to do my thing here and possibly have my dream become a reality. So I literally, at that juncture in time, football is a lot of my life. Football is all I care about. I'm literally training 5 times a day in the summers. 5:30 in the morning, I'm on the track working on my speed. 8 a.m., I'm on the field working on my skills. 10 a.m., I'm in the weight room working on my strength. 6 p.m., I'm in the park doing calisthenics. 7 p.m., I'm back on the field working on my skills. Nobody wanted to outwork me, and my motto was, when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. So this is what I want, an NFL contract. No one's going to outwork me. That was my motto, that was my mantra, that's what I believe. So I'm an Abilene Christian. It's Abilene Christian, and the only thing Christian is the school and not me. We had to go to chapel every Tuesday morning. I would go to chapel, swipe my card, leave. After chapel, I'll come back, swipe out, so it looks like I was there. I had no desire whatsoever. I could be sleeping, I could be eating, I could be doing my homework, I could lift, I could do something. I wanted nothing to do with it. I just didn't think it was going to benefit me at all. Then, Abilene Christian does not work out. Me and the coach don't see eye to eye. And then I'm on academic probation. All I'm doing is training and worrying about football. My grades start to slip, and grades have never been a problem. So now, at this juncture in time, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, me and my father pretty much don't speak. And this is going on about 3 years at this point. So I'm on academic probation. I can't come back to the school while I'm on academic probation. So I need my dad to co-sign a loan for me. I need the guy who I don't speak to co-sign a loan for me. I asked him, he says, can't do it, son, hangs up the phone on me. In my mind, this is now like my worst enemy. This is my dream. This is my path to try to get to my dream, and you are closing doors that you could open. So now at this juncture in time, every time I think about my dad, every time I see my dad, I am infuriated. And just a couple years before that, it got so heated in the house one day. All my sneakers are downstairs. He didn't want my sneakers downstairs. It's Saturday morning. He runs upstairs, starts throwing sneakers in my bedroom while I'm dead asleep. Runs downstairs, grabs the sneakers, comes back, throw it up 3 times. So I'm like, okay. Today's gonna be the day. I wake up, put on some black J's, some sweatpants, a gray hoodie. I remember it like it was yesterday. I start throwing his sneakers back downstairs. And he's like, yo, what do you think you're doing? He runs up the stairs. My mom like gets in between us. He hits me in like the shoulder over my mother. I pick up a sneaker. I hit him in the head. I kick him. He like slides down 10 stairs. And then I'm like, just go outside, just go outside, just go outside. And my mom blocks the door. And he goes outside. I run out the back door. Literally hop the fence, and he's standing there like this, like what's up, what are you gonna do? I walk up to him, and I unleash years of bitterness, resentment, anger, and fury in the form of a left hook to my father's face. And he literally hits the ground and is like dazed for like 3 minutes. And I go in the street and I'm yelling crazy stuff. When I was 10 years old, I wanted to play with my friends and you made me go cut grass with you. I wanted to do this and you're making me do that. And what I realized is I had everything stored up on the inside, and it was like a volcanic eruption went on. I wasn't in control of me. He had power and control over me because anytime I thought about him, talked about him, saw him, this anger, this rage would come out of me. Fast forward back to Abilene Christian. After his son did that to him, why would he co-sign a loan for me, right? Then, start dating this girl after college. And one day, she invites me to pray over the food. I've never prayed a prayer in my life out loud. I'm 23 years old. So I'm like, what do you mean? What do I say? Then she invites me to church. And at that time, I started going back to the Catholic church I was going to, not because I wanted God, but because I wanted God to bless me with an NFL contract. I didn't want God's face, I wanted God's hand. So I'm starting to go back to Catholic church. Again, I feel like I'm not getting anything from it. This girl invites me to a non-denominational church. For the first time, I'm 23, about to be 24 years old. I hear a sermon. I'm listening to worship. I feel the presence of God. Felt like God was sitting in the balcony. I had community. I had people that would welcome me, that cared about me, that would ask me questions, that actually were concerned about me. And I started to like to go to church. I'm still going for the wrong reasons. I'm going because I want God to bless me, not because I want God, but I'm starting to like church. Then, at this juncture in time, football is still the God of my life. I'm fornicating, I'm chasing women. Now I'm with this girlfriend, still fornicating, so it's football and fornication. And I literally quote myself in saying in college, I just want to make it to the NFL so I could ride around in nice cars with bad chicks. That's what I thought was going to bring me fulfillment, satisfaction, joy, and purpose. So now I'm with this girl, I'm in a committed relationship, so I'm only fornicating with one girl. Football is still the God of my life. And then I get invited to these regional combines. I run fast. They write 4 different articles about me. I'm getting recruited by a bunch of different NFL teams. The Seattle Seahawks, the Dallas Cowboys are talking to my agent. I'm in contact with Jason Garrett's father, a whole bunch of different things, and I am ready to go. It looks like my dream is going to become a reality. And then it didn't. And I never got that phone call. And it landed me in the deepest, darkest state of depression that I would not wish on anybody. I'm unhappy, living check to check, working as a personal trainer, eating peanut butter and jelly. And I would literally tell my friends, don't expect to hear from me because I just need to be by myself right now. And I would isolate myself because there's a hole in my heart, because this game of football has now been taken away from me. Manny's talking about identity. I was a football player, but now football's taken away from me, so I have no idea who I am. I have no clue who I am. I'm sleeping on an air mattress, and the gospel that I believe when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful, is not true. Sounds good, but that's incomplete. That's not the gospel. So now I'm going to church. I said, you know what? I'm going to show God how serious I am about this NFL contract. I'm going to keep going to church, but now I'm going to read the Bible every single day, a minimum of 6 pages a day until I finish the Bible cover to cover. Not because I want God, because I want God to bless me. So I start to read the Bible every single day, cover to cover. Then I get an opportunity to play professional arena football in Colorado Ice. And I fly out to Colorado, and there's a team chaplain. We call him Rev. And everywhere I went, I would carry my Bible. And Rev started to take me under his wing, started to answer my questions, started to take me out for pizza, started to give me rides to practice, to the game, just have conversation with me. Because I have no father figure in my life. Me and my dad still don't talk. At this point, this is now 6 years. Me and my dad really don't talk. And then 2 evangelists knock on the door one day in my apartment in Colorado. They say, hey man, I'm Gary, I'm Jeff, what's your name? I said, I'm Eric, it's nice to meet you. He said, if you were to die today, do you think you would go to heaven? I said, yeah, I think so. He said, why? I said, well, I think I'm a good person. He said, can we come inside? I want to show you some stuff. Walks me through a couple scriptures, basically shows me that heaven is not for good people, heaven is for forgiven people who have given their life to Jesus Christ to be their Lord and Savior. I said, okay, it's starting to make a little sense. I'm going to church, I'm reading the Bible, I got these evangelists, I got Rev talking to me. But my girlfriend still flies out next week, football and fornication. Then I go back home after the season, I get injured, football is not really working out. And my girlfriend at the time had been visiting my dad in Union while I'm in Colorado to try to bring some kind of reconciliation. And she keeps bringing this up to me, maybe you should think about letting this go with your father. And I would be like, I just don't think about it. He's wronged me, he did me dirty, all he cares about is money, he doesn't care about me, so I'm just gonna go my own way and let him go his own way. And then, she's like, I really, really, really think you should at least have a conversation. I read a book, and at this time it's just in my head, this issue with my dad and how he's really like controlling me. And then I'm like, you know what? My dad only knows what his dad taught him. And what his dad taught him is just work. 7 days a week for 40 years. He doesn't even have any emotional intelligence. And I'm holding all this stuff against him, and he literally doesn't know. I have to act like it's not his fault. So I start to think about forgiving him. And then, somewhere in this process, I'm going to church, I'm reading the Bible, I got Rev, the evangelist came to my house. I go to Christ Church for the first time when I'm back in Jersey. They make a very clear gospel presentation. God loves everyone.